Welcome back to my second video in the same week. I know it's unheard of. Today I want to talk about the subtle ways and one not so subtle way in which ADHD affects your life. And I'm going to jump right in on the first one, and that is what I've called all or nothing socializing. And that's basically where what I've found is that I'll go out with some friends or some family or whatever, and for maybe an hour or so I put all of my effort into being as sociable as I possibly can, and then I'll find that I just completely crash. I have no energy to speak to anyone whatsoever. During that first hour I'll be completely fine. I'll be what I'd say like in flow. I feel great, socializing is easy, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere I just can't hold a conversation to save my life. Someone might ask me a question and my mind will just go completely blank and I cannot think of an answer, let alone the answer. I can't even blag my way out of it at that time. And the biggest way that I find that this affects me is that I feel as though during that hour or however long it is, I'll meet people maybe for the first time and they'll get an idea of kind of who I am. I'll almost like set the standard of who I am, who I want to be, who they can expect me to be. And then after that hour's done, or once my social battery is just completely drained, it's like I'm a completely different person. So they kind of don't know where they stand with me. And it's as frustrating for me as it is for them, I'm sure. The best way that I personally have found to tackle this issue, and I use it all the time, I might take sort of 5 minutes before I go out, just sit down, calm down a bit, get the anxiety down, and just think about my social battery, and literally view it as a battery. So I'll start out with 100%, and then I'll know that throughout the night that's going to dwindle, obviously. And so what I need to do is, rather than burning it all within the first hour and being left with nothing to last me the rest of the night, I'll now eke out that energy and say, okay, well, I know I've got to last until, let's say, midnight or whenever it is. I'm going to gradually eke out my energy so I don't put all of my eggs in one basket of giving this perfect person for the first hour. And that way what I found is that I can just have a bit more consistency in who I'm kind of showing up as on these sort of social events. I can be a bit more of a well-rounded person, I guess, for that time. And it means that I'm not having these huge peaks and troughs where I'm the best I can possibly be and then like a no one who doesn't have any personality at all. And that's been really helpful. The second one that I wanted to talk about, and this is the one that I said earlier that isn't as subtle as the other ones, and that is being late, always, consistently late. So it is a big part of ADHD as it is being late, and it does depend on which subtype you are as to what the reasons are that you are late in the first place. So say for instance you're really easily distracted or hyperactive, you might always be looking for a set of keys that you've lost, or I don't know, trying to remember where you're supposed to be at what time, or feeling that you're not bringing something that you were supposed to bring, something along those lines. Whereas the kind of inattentive type, more what I am, I have a real like time blindness, I've seen it called online, and that's where I find it really difficult to work out how long a task is going to take me, or how long I've already spent on the task, for instance. And that just means that I'm somewhat always playing a game of catch up, I guess. So say for instance in the mornings I know it's going to take me like, or I think it's going to take me about 25 minutes to get ready before I need to leave for work, but generally speaking it takes me 35-40 minutes. I don't then adjust my time by getting up a little bit earlier to make sure that I'm there on time. I just still assume that it's going to take the 25 minutes that I set out in my head, which it never ever does as well. So that one's really annoying, and something that I still struggle with to this day massively.